and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Terrier Mania, where no matter what, in this room, we finish the story. I'm Tyler, I'm one of your hosts for this lovely event, and I'm here with my co-host, one half of the dynamic duo, Dajuan. No Yeet. Today, we will be explaining the 2024 Royal Rumble event hosted in St. Petersburg, Florida on January 28th, 2024. Now, to start off, we're going to start talking about the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, Dajuan, I want to ask you for your opinion. What did you think of the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble?
So I actually loved the Rumble, but I was just disappointed two people did not make their spontaneous return.
Who are those two people?
Sasha Banks and AJ Lee.
I've got to agree with you. Me personally, I was very excited to see AJ Lee come back because I've always been an AJ Lee fan. But once we kept on getting through the Rumble, something was telling me we're not getting AJ, and I'm pretty sure we're not getting Mercedes. Now, we're going to go straight into the Women's Royal Rumble. We're going to start off, we have 5 main points we want to talk about with the Rumble. We're going to start off with the first point, which was the return that happened at number 2 in the women's, starting off so hot, number 2 in the Women's Royal Rumble, which is, of course, Naomi/Trinity, formerly from Impact Wrestling. How did you feel when Naomi first came out? Like, what was your initial reaction?
So I was surprised because I heard the theme song, and I'm like, ain't no way. And then I saw the shoes. Oh, yeah, it's lit.
Yeah, like, I heard the theme, and I'm like, this theme sounds so familiar. But then when I saw the shoes, I'm like, oh, we're about to feel the glow. Oh, boy. So that was the first point I wanted to get into. Now, this next point, Maxine Dupri. Now, I'm an Alpha Academy fan. I'm a Maxine Dupri fan. I think she's improved since she first appeared on the main roster. However, the performance in this Rumble, I can't say was the best. I don't think she had a good showing in this Rumble. I'm pretty sure she botched 90% of the moves she was supposed to. A specific move I want to point out is the Hurricane Rana that she did at the beginning when she first got into, I believe, Becky.
It was.
It was not good.
It was delayed.
Very, very delayed. Then she did it again. Like, the thing is, she'd botch the move, and then she'd be like, okay, let's just act like I never got in the Rumble. Then she'd do the move again, botch it again. And it come to a point where she was like, I can't, like, redo this every single time, so they just let it go. So, if you was wondering who I thought had the worst performance in the Women's Royal Rumble, for me, it's going to Maxine Dupri. Now, some people might argue that it was the next person we're going to talk about, which is Valhalla.
Yep.
Now, to explain what happened, number 24, Valhalla, she comes out, and she doesn't even get halfway to the halfway point of the ramp before
The
boom,
GOAT.
R-Truth comes out, thinking that it's the Men's Royal Rumble. He comes out, and immediately he gets into the ring, and he looks around, and then he just asks the referees,
Where are the guys?
Where's all the men at? Where's the men? And then he gets thrown out by, I believe, Nia Jax.
It was Nia.
And then on his way out, Valhalla then finally gets into the Rumble and is immediately eliminated by, I believe,
5 seconds later.
Yeah, 5 seconds later by, I believe, Nia Jax again.
It was.
And then she gets mad and chases R-Truth to the back. Now, the next person we want to talk about is someone who made their very anticipated debut in the Rumble, and that's, of course, Miss Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Now, I thought the way they introduced Jade Cargill into this Rumble was amazing. She has a very good, like, superstar aura to her, and to make it even better, she gets in and completely bodies Nia Jax. She just lifts her up with ease, and then just throws her down. A little bit of I call it a bro kick. It's like a bro kick,
It was
right?
basically a bro
It was basically
kick.
a bro kick. No copyright infringements to Sheamus, but a bro kick. And then scoop slam, Nia Jax goes over the top rope. I thought that was amazing. Jade Cargill had a very good performance in this Women's Royal Rumble. Now, the last point we want to talk about in the Women's Royal Rumble is the number 30 entrant into the Royal Rumble, and that is, of course, Miss Liv Morgan. Fresh off of an injury, she comes back, number 30 in the Rumble. Now, before I get into my take, Dajuan, what was your thoughts when you heard Liv Morgan's theme at number 30 in the Rumble?
I had two emotions. Had anger first, and then I was happy because I expected AJ or Sasha to come back, but they didn't. So Liv came back. I was happy for her.
I have to say I agree with what you're saying. I'm not upset that Liv Morgan was number 30 in the Rumble. I think it makes, looking back at it now, it makes sense because Liv, again, she was number 30. She was injured by Rhea Ripley. So, of course, a surprise number 30, it makes sense. Me, personally, after wanting both AJ and Mercedes to come back, and just the audience reaction when number 30 was counting down, everybody was very hyped because they thought it was either going to be AJ or Mercedes. And then once you hear the dun, 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 it was just like a, it's not the worst, but, it was, it was all right, So, of course, recapping the winner of the 2024 Royal Rumble, of course, it's your girl Bayley. Bayley was, I always expected Bayley to be the winner of this Royal Rumble because I thought it make storyline sense for her to win and go on to challenge EO at Mania with all the turmoil that's been going on with Damage Control. I felt like that was really the only logical winner of the Rumble. It was either going to be her or Jade for me. Either her or Jade.
And she now holds the record for the longest time spent in a Rumble.
That is true. She holds the longest record. So, good job, Bayley. Good job. Now, that was the Women's Royal Rumble. We're going to keep on moving on and talk about the next match, which is the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match with Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight. Yeah. Now, for me, this match was basically in a T, a Roman Reigns singles match with two extra people.
You're not wrong.
Because at the beginning it started off, pretty hot. Everybody just ganged up on Roman. They was beating the living tar out of him. And then it just became, another standard Roman match. He taunts the crowd, gets back on the offense, taunts the crowd again, gets back on the offense. It wasn't a bad match, but like people say, it just got kind of repetitive for me. What did you think?
Well, you're not wrong, because it started off 3v1, and then Randy singled out Roman, and AJ and LA Knight were fighting it all off. And then there were a lot of close calls, like you said, in a lot of Roman matches. Then the bloodline interferes. The attack fails, and then Roman hits somebody with a spear, and then 1, 2, 3, and his entrance and match over.
Yeah, that's always a constant in a Roman Reigns match, which is bloodline interference. At any point, if AJ or if anybody got like the upper hand, you almost had that visceral reaction like, oh boy, there's gonna be some interference coming up. And then when Randy hit every single person with an RKO, and the final one was Roman. And
Roman was not kicking out.
And he was not kicking out. And Randy got on the cover. 1, 2. You could almost tell that there was going to be interference.
Because the crowd's reaction.
Not even that. The referee was counting slowly.
True.
He was like 1, 2, and then out of nowhere, the ref. But like, here's a point I want to make for that, because when it was Solo Sikoa, by the way. Solo Sikoa pulled out the referee. But my question is that it was a no disqualification match, right?
Yeah, Fatal 4 is always no disqualification.
Why was Solo in disguise? He could have just came out. Why was he in a hoodie? Because there was nothing saying that he couldn't come out, or that he had to be hidden when he came out. So why did he come out in a hoodie?
You're not wrong.
Come out disguised, and then he took it off. Oh my God, it's
Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa. Who else is this gonna be? Jacob Fatu? Like, Come on. So, yeah, Solo interferes, and then he goes to try and, I call it a Samoan butt squish.
Yeah.
He tries a Samoan butt squish
to AJ Styles.
AJ Styles into the barricade, and he misses, and he goes straight through the barricade. So now I'm thinking, okay, all the interference is gone now. Maybe now something will happen. But of course, you guys are forgetting,
It's a Roman Reigns
Roman
match.
Reigns match. So I believe everybody takes each other out, and AJ is the only one left standing.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns, hits, I believe, a Superman punch.
AJ's woozy.
Yeah, he's woozy. Hits a spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns retains. Now, I always knew Roman was going to retain because I don't think they're going to take the title off of him
It's this close to Mania.
this close to Mania, where you have the potential, potential rematch, which don't worry, we'll get to. So I always knew that he was going to retain. Do you have the same mindset?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's inevitable at this point. Now, the next match on the card was, of course, Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Now, going into this match, there was a heavy focus on Kevin Owens' hand because it was injured, I believe, before the tournament.
That was by Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
Yeah, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory injured Kevin Owens' hand, and that played into the match of Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. Now, personally, I thought this match was pretty good. Logan Paul is definitely improving as a wrestler. The more I watch him, I'm starting to believe he knows what he's doing. I believe he's pretty good as a wrestler. Do you have the same belief, or?
Yeah, I've been a Logan Paul fan since his match with Roman.
Yeah, ever since that match with Roman where he held his own, I'm starting to believe Logan Paul has he has a place in this company right now. He does his thing, and he does it well, Now, getting into the match, again, there was a heavy focus on the hand. Logan was targeting the hand a lot. At one point, he took off the brace that Kevin had because during the build-up, he had mentioned that brace could be the thing that, he could use that, to his advantage. Kevin could use that to his advantage. So he took off the brace, and towards the end of the match, one of his goons, I call him Jeff. Jeff tried to jump the barricade, and
he got stopped by security.
Yeah, he got stopped. He basically got pressed by security. They're like, oh, you can't, ID, you cannot come in here, And then once that was happening, then from the ramp comes Austin Theory and the wrestler of the year, Grayson Waller. Now, Grayson and Austin were distracting the security guards, and Austin then comes to the side of the ring, hands Logan Paul some brass knuckles, who I thought Jeff had the brass knuckles, but Austin had the brass knuckles. And so he gives them to Logan. Logan tries to hit Kevin Owens with the knuckles, and Kevin basically stops it, takes off the knuckles, then
and rocks him.
Boom, rocks Logan Paul. Logan goes down. Kevin makes the cover. It's the funniest. It's the funniest part of the Rumble for me, where the referee's counting. Picture this: we're watching Kevin Owens. He's pinning Logan Paul, and out of nowhere, the ref just goes 1, 2. Wait a minute, and the ref notices the brass knuckles that's on Kevin's hand. And so the referee's like, no, ding, 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 disqualification. And to me, I wasn't upset that Kevin got disqualified. It's just funny to me that at all points in the match, that's when the ref wants to have 20/20 vision.
Word.
Is when Kevin's making the pin, and he can see the brass knuckles on Kevin's hand. That was the funniest part of that match for me.
But here's my thing: Kevin started off as a heel. How you not know to throw the brass knuckles?
That's what I'm saying. Kevin's been in this heel game for a long time. He should know that if you use brass knuckles, throw them joints out. Don't keep them on your hand, because then if the referee sees him, it's it for you, you know. But nonetheless, Logan Paul to this day is still your WWE United States champion. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
The final match on this card was the Men's Royal Rumble. 30 men. Now, first off, what was your opinion on the Men's Royal Rumble?
The Rumble match, it was good, but it was kind of disappointing, lacking a few star power.
Yeah, I felt like this Rumble was definitely, the beginning was hot. The ending was hot. The middle was filler. It was like an Oreo cookie. That's the perfect analogy.
Yeah,
it was like an
basically.
Oreo cookie. Two layers of good with a soft middle. And that's the perfect way to describe this Men's Royal Rumble. Now, I have some key moments that I want to talk about when it comes to the Men's Royal Rumble. I'm going to kick off first with the first two, which is, of course, outcomes number one, Jimmy Uso.
And then Jey Uso at number 2.
Exactly. Jimmy and Jay, which is something that's been building ever since SummerSlam 2023,
Yep.
where Jimmy cost Jay the undisputed title at SummerSlam. Now, it's them two, they start off in the ring, and automatically I'm like,
it's
boy.
about to get real.
I'm like, it's about to get oozy in here. Oh, my God. And then, they start off, it's hot. But the thing about that is, that's the only time where it felt like that. Because the rest of the Rumble, they didn't have no interactions.
Oh, true, because Jimmy was always having somebody beat up Jay.
Yeah, Jimmy always had somebody beating up Jay. But there was no, storyline. When it comes to bloodline stuff, there's always, storyline beats.
Or sibling
in it.
rivalries.
Yeah. The only storyline beat was the stare down at the beginning. Other than that, there was no storyline beats. So, for me, that it just didn't really make any type of sense. Now, the next point I want to talk about is the return that also happened in the Men's Royal Rumble, coming in at number 4, Andrade Cien Almas. Now, Andrade's been gone from the WWE ever since 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
2020 or 2021 due to a release. And then he spent some time in AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And due to some contract disputes, he returned to the WWE at the Royal Rumble. But I feel like that's really all we could say about Andrade.
True.
Because Andrade did not do pretty much anything else. He had one stare down
That was
with Santos
but
Escobar.
barely, though.
Yeah, it was barely a stare down. Santos tried to,
Tranquilo.
Yeah, tranquilo with Andrade. Andrade said, man, get that out of here. And then, a little scuffle. But then after that, there was really nothing after that. Andrade was just a body, which is very unfortunate because it's Andrade's return.
And it's the Rumble.
And it's the return.
You're
You
expecting
expect him
something
to do
huge.
more. But he was just, unfortunately, another body, So next point I want to talk about is, of course, entrant number 15, the man himself, the man that does not know how to finish a story, Cody Rhodes. Now, for me in this Rumble, there were 3 people that I was for sure thought they're winning the Rumble. And that's Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Gunther. I thought those 3 were for sure lock-ins to win the Rumble this year. And it ended up being Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, of course, is the winner of the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble. And he's going on to finally finish the story.
Hopefully.
Against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Now, this plays into the bigger question. You think Cody's finishing this story?
Well, he has to, because a year of all this built up, and then he did the side missions also. It's
There's a lot of side
yeah.
missions.
So this has to be the
playing
final
GTA
chapter.
5. I swear to God. Me personally, I hope Cody finishes the story this year. I hope he wins at Mania, because I don't know how many more chapters I could take of Cody Rhodes. I don't know how many more chapters I can take, so I really hope he finishes at Mania. Now, the next point I want to bring up is one of the NXT cameos that happened in this year's Royal Rumble, and that's Braun Breaker. I thought Braun Breaker did amazing in this Rumble. This is a personal opinion. I think Braun Breaker has the best spear right now in modern wrestling.
I second that.
I think he has the best spear because when he hits it, it's like when he hits it, you can feel it, and you're not even the one being speared.
Cause you saw the one where he did with Ivar, the springboard.
Yeah.
Yo, he cut Ivar in half.
And Ivar's a big dude. Like, it's cool enough that Ivar can even springboard off the rope, but to catch him in a spear, Braun Breaker's a different type of man. I can't do that, and nor will I ever. Now, the next point I want to bring up is, of course, Pat McAfee, who came out at number 22 in the Rumble.
Misfortune.
Personally, I just felt like that spot could have been used for somebody else.
Like a returning superstar.
Like you mentioned earlier, Chad Gable,
Yes.
who wasn't in the Rumble. I feel like Chad could have had a good show in the Rumble, but they gave it to Pat McAfee, who was sitting at the announcer's desk. He stood up, surprised that he was in the Rumble. He stood up, walked into the ring, who had Braun Breaker on one side and Omos on the other, and he said, "No, sir."
And picture this.
He walked over the top rope and eliminated himself from the Rumble. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, I mean, that was funny and all.
But was it worth it, though?
Was it really worth it at the end of the day? Because I feel like that spot could have been given to somebody else.
Somebody else worthy.
It, like a Chad Gable.
Because Omos is 7'3", 400
Omos
pounds.
is a big dude.
And Braun Breaker is 6'1", 250. And Pat is just 6'4".
Exactly. Like, I feel like it could have been better. Now, I want to mention this brief part before I get into the ending, which is the elimination of J.D. McDonough. Now,
yeah, that was funny.
J.D. McDonough, I believe, if I can remember correctly, he came down. Something happened to him where he
Braun
was just
Breaker,
Braun Breaker
got eliminated and speared him.
Exactly, and then R-Truth came. I believe R-Truth came out.
Yeah, and tried to help JD.
He threw JD into the ring, and JD was immediately eliminated.
Like not even 5 seconds in.
And JD was pissed. He grabbed R-Truth, sir. I find it so funny because R-Truth would keep on saying, "You're not even in the Judgment Day. So why are you so upset, JD?" R-Truth is really one of the hidden gems of 2024 right now, I believe.
I believe that too.
He's doing so good right now. Now, final 2 points that we want to bring up is, first off, number 27, Mr. Pepsi Phil himself, CM Punk. CM Punk came in. I didn't think he looked bad in this Rumble, but he also didn't look the best.
Like, he was a little rusty.
Yeah, he's a little rusty. And unfortunately, he did get injured during this Royal Rumble. Torn bicep by Mr. Drew Booty McIntyre. What's your thoughts on the CM Punk injury?
It's a shame because I was rooting for him to win the Rumble, but I guess you can't because it looked like when he got injured, he gave a signal to the refs. Like
I believe they called the audible during the match, and instead of Punk, I believe was supposed to win the Rumble, but because of that injury, they went with Cody instead. Which is a shame because I really wanted Punk. Punk was my pick to win the Rumble.
Same.
I really wanted Punk to win because it would fit with his story that he's been campaigning for.
10 years to the day he left?
Yeah, which is the main event, WrestleMania. And I feel like now he can't do that because he's injured, torn biceps. Seth Rollins is also injured, by the way.
True.
So Mania 40 right now is starting to look a lot like Mania 32, where all the top stars are getting injured, or something's happening to them.
And Roman's in the main event again.
Oh, I'm telling you, WrestleMania 32, we're going back to what works, I guess. Now, the last point I want to bring up was number 30. The man that came out at number 30, which is Mr. Sami Zayn came out number 30 in the Rumble. What was your opinion on, same thing with the Liv Morgan thing, what was your opinion on Sami Zayn coming out at number 30?
I was very disappointed because I thought Big E was going to make his spontaneous return.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was going to be Big E. Cause I don't know, there was just a feeling in the air, especially since they were in Florida.
Yeah.
And Big E's home state.
And he's not that far from there?
Yeah, Big E's home state is Florida. So I thought, what a perfect way to bring Big E back. Number 30 in the Rumble would have been fire. But I'm not mad at Sami Zayn because it makes sense. Drew McIntyre, I believe, came out at number 29. And Drew McIntyre was the one that injured Sami Zayn.
He went straight for Drew.
So it makes sense for Sami Zayn to be the man that eliminated Drew McIntyre. Now, I asked this for the Women's Royal Rumble, so now I'm going to ask you this for the Men's Royal Rumble. who do you think had the best and worst performances in this year's Rumbles, men's and women's?
Okay, so the women's, I say Chelsea Green.
You thought she had the worst?
Oh, no, the best, bro.
Oh, okay. Let's
Maxine had
start
the
off with the
worst.
best. Who thought had the best?
Chelsea Green.
Okay, what about the men?
I would say Gunter, but he came in later, but he still had a good performance.
Yeah, for me, worst performance of the Rumble, women's, of course, I said Maxine Dupree.
Yep.
For the men, worst performance in the Rumble, this might be kind of controversial, but I'm gonna say Dominic.
Whoa.
I expected Dominic to do more in this Rumble, because when you really think about it, what did Dominic do in this Rumble?
He hid and stayed in the ring.
I feel like he could have done more, though.
Bro, he
He
had
didn't
to
have,
stay in.
Because when you think about it, nobody really had, like, a worse performance than Dom. Okay.
JD did.
Well, that's not fair, because you could make an argument for JD. I remember a friend had told me that they thought that Punk had the worst performance in the Rumble,
Well, he hasn't been in WWE in 10 years, so, and
he was like,
it's more
rusty.
lights, so.
Yeah, for me, I would say either Punk or JD. Maybe I thought it would be Dominic, but yeah, either Punk or JD had the worst performances in this year's Rumble. So, what did you rate the Rumble as a whole?
Like all four matches?
Yeah, all 4 matches, the event itself.
I'd say
What would
like
you rate it?
7.58 out of 10.
That's a
What
good
about
rating. Me, I would rate it a 7. I felt like the best match on that card was definitely the Women's Rumble.
Definitely.
I thought the Women's Rumble slapped this year. The Men's Rumble was okay, wasn't the best. It was just mainly filler. The Roman Reigns match was the Roman Reigns match. And I thought Logan and Kevin was pretty good too. So I would give like a 7.5, maybe an 8. If I'm being generous, maybe an 8. But that was the 2024 Women's and Men's Royal Rumble, along with some extra matches. That's the Royal Rumble event as a whole. Thank you guys for watching Terrier Mania, where, of course, we always finish the story. I've been Tyler, this has been Dajuan, and that was wrestling.